So why does a whiskey cask go up in value? There is a multitude of reasons.
So the reason why casks of whiskey go up in value is tied to rarity, scarcity, the master distiller behind it, and of course the brand itself.
Of course, the biggest one is the brand behind it. When you look at casks of whiskey, they're not all made equal. Just because it's a single malt from the Scottish Highlands and it's 15 years old, they're not all selling for the same price. Just if it's from Islay, let's just look at a tiny little island of Islay. There's distilleries on there that you know, a 20-year-old cask will sell for 5 times what another distillery will from the same island. Only difference between it, the region's the same, the style of whiskey's the same, a peated single malt, you know, the size of the cask, ex-bourbon, 200 litres, it's all identical. The only difference between them would be the brand. So the brand is the biggest driving factor.
So what makes a brand important is obviously, you know, what it's recognised for, you know, what kind of awards and accolades it wins. How accessible is that whiskey? You know, if it's in high supply, then not going to be that desirable. Whereas if it's in limited supply, where there's rarity and scarcity, there's going to be a higher appetite for it. The way that brand separates itself through craft is very important as well. If you're going to compare the likes of, say, Famous Grouse to, you know, Macallan, for example, one's produced in such high volume at such a low price point. The whiskey itself is quite young. You know, white label most often than not, whereas, you know, the likes of the Macallans of the world and the Middletons is that it's lower volume, it's finished in better quality casks, and there's a better appetite and fanfare around it.
You look at whiskey as an asset class, you've got bottles and you've got barrels, and they're both intrinsically linked because the value of a barrel is in a bottle, and that's why the brand is so important when it comes to whiskey. So that's why a bottle of the Macallan sells for far more than a volume brand that doesn't have that premium status.
We always talk about Macallan because their casks have been seen on auction sites to sell for insane amounts of money, above 7 figures. Middleton as well. Why? Well, they're ultra premium brands, they're luxury brands. People are seen spending millions on bottles. You look at Yamazaki, a bottle goes for, you know, anywhere from 500 to 900 grand for the 55-year-old. There's bottles of Macallan selling for 2.7 million. So of course the casks are just going to go through the roof. The same is for the likes of Bowmore, Dalmore. So when you look at tiers and groups of brands, you've got your ultra premium brands. There's only a handful in that region that are really continually turning out big partnerships, like Bowmore with Aston Martin, and I believe Macallan did something with Bentley, but our brand has done similar stuff with the likes of, you know, Fabergé, and partnerships with the world's 50 best restaurants, and, you know, breaking world records and auction records. And there's a handful, there's maybe only 7 or 8 whiskey brands in that kind of ultra premium tier category, and then there's a hell of a lot more that sit in the real collectability status that you should look for.
Brand partnerships with whiskies are very important. If you have no centre point of what a brand stands for, but you understand another brand that may not be a whiskey company, be that a fashion brand or a car company, and you align with those values, it proves that, you know, that whiskey distillery that you want to invest in has the same values of another brand that you associate with. If they've got esteemed heritage and prestige behind them, for some companies going for over 100 years, and they are co-branding with another brand that has only been in the market, let's say, for 6 to 10 years, it just shows the confidence in that brand, and it's something, a confidence that you should invest in.
Brand specifically is the most important. Where are they today? Where have they come from, and where do we see they're going to go in the future? Because if they're going up and each year they're getting better and better, then of course the casks, they're getting more and more fans, the casks are becoming more and more valuable and more collectible, as do the bottles. So that's something that I look for. And how does that come about? How are they getting better each year? Well, are they winning awards? Because of course it all comes down to the liquid. When they come out and win a big World Whiskey Award, or, you know, the double golds at the San Francisco Awards, and they do, you know, great memorable partnerships, collectible releases, and have momentous occasions that, you know, really get the world talking, those are the big things that drive people towards a brand. And of course, if the liquid's amazing because it's winning awards, it gets raving fans. Raving fans consume the liquid. When the liquid is consumed, it becomes scarce. There's only so much of it in existence, and when there's only so much of it left, the price goes up. So these are the things to look for when you're looking at a brand.